What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and whatever time it is. And welcome back to yet another video with me, man, Immersiaholic. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another online battle for the Divided to Para Overhaul mod for Total War Rome 2. Today, we have Pontus taking on Rhodes of all factions. This is going to be a very cheeky matchup right here. I am, of course, playing as Pontus. This is my own replay, we're not using a viewer submitted one today. And I am playing against my very good friend and fellow YouTuber, Toxborg. Toxborg does a lot of online battles where he's trying to do specific tactics. So you might see his army compositions be a little bit more unorthodox and different. So make sure you follow the link in the description. Go check out his point of view of this particular battle. And just check out his other narrative let's plays and tactics videos that he does, which are really cool and very different and fun to try and use yourself. But anyway, let's go over the army composition of Pontus and then we'll get into the battle. So one thing that you need to understand before we begin the composition overlook is that we are using the larger battlefields mod. So there's no way in heck, given that we have these two massive hills in the middle of the battlefield, that we'll be able to see the Rhodian army. It should be way up here somewhere. That should be its deployment zone, approximately somewhere up here. So right now we will go over Pontus, and I'll talk a little bit more about the impact of the larger battlefield, someone we are using. Link is in the description note if you do want to use it yourself. So the Pontic army consists of 3 wings basically. I've really tried to separate my army since we have a larger battlefield. One wing here, the center, and then our far right wing, all basically mirroring each other. I'm not trying any specific tactics in this video. I know some of you guys said that you prefer to see more tactics focused online battles, and they will be coming, but I'm still trying to get used to certain factions. For example, Pontus, I've very rarely ever actually played as, except for testing in a faction overview. So I'm trying to form up a fairly standard army, try and get some good units that gives me a lot of flexibility, because I don't know what to expect when I'm going up against Rhodes, except probably at least a fair few slingers, because they have the best slingers in the game. But anyway, my army composition begins with 1 and 2 Pontic Thurio spears. Behind them we have 2 units of Pontic cavalry, very good medium tier kind of melee cav unit, very good overall. And then in the rear we have some very cheap Persian skirmishers, just enough to throw in a few javelins. Over here in the center we have, going from left to right, we have Pontic Late Infantry, and we have a lot of them. Now, Pontic Late Infantry is basically a cheaper version of a Roman Legionnaire that that Pontus gets access to. You can see they're very similar in their kind of look and their equipment, their armor, but they're definitely not as well armored as like Roman Legionnaires or something. So it's kind of a mixture of a Legionnaire and a Principe, and kind of a Hastati man. So these guys are not very well armored. They only have an armor of 20, but they have 300 men in each little cohort here, which is really big. At least I thought it was really big. We'll see how well these guys do in the battle. But I haven't used these guys at all ever in any online battle, so it'll be interesting. But this is my main body line. So we have 1 of those, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in total. And then behind them we have some Galatian warriors, basically very elite tier swordsman unit. We also have some Phrygian axemen over here to give us some armor penetration. We have another Galatian warrior unit, and then some more Phrygian axemen as well. So I'm basically mirroring everything. We have our general in the rear here as well. A shock cavalry unit, which is the Sarmatian royal bodyguard. I really didn't want to use the shock cav unit, but I believe that's the only cav unit Pontus gets access to for a general, I believe. But anyway, and then on the far right, way out here, we have 2 Pontic Thurio spearmen, 2 Pontic cavalry units, and then another Persian skirmisher. So very safe kind of army composition here. Very flexible, have a good amount of cavalry, some skirmishers, but pretty light on it. But yeah, I'm basically not really too sure what to expect from Rhodes, let alone my man Toxborg, who's always trying different tactics. So this is going to be very interesting. We're going to be pressing play here, and I will be skipping quite a lot of this battle, because you can see it's over 30 minutes. Bottom right hand corner, it's a 32-minute battle timer. So we won't be on the statistics screen at the end for very long because, you know, we don't need this online battle to be massively long. But the basic reason for that is because the battle map is so large. So usually, without the larger battlefield someone, me and Toxborg will be spawning basically on the top of these hills. He would have this one over there, and I would have the first one I just highlighted back here. So I like this though, because it means that we can kind of do the standard thing where we come up, take positions in the tree lines. We can maybe try to swing around the left-hand side, or even going all the way over here to the far right. Try and get on some flat ground, hide some units in the forest. You have options with this somewhat. That's why I really, really like it, and I kind of wish battle maps were in general this big. Just because it's so much more fun, allows so much more strategy, and it just adds a little bit of extra, dare I say it, immersion to the battle. But anyway, right now not a lot is happening. I am trying to move forward very quickly so Toxborg doesn't send any cavalry up onto my hill. So I'm going to be trying to send forward my flanks especially. We've already rushed forward some cavalry, taking up position over here on the left in the forest. They will have their line of sight looking out in this direction. And then the same thing on the right hand side. Nothing too crazy going on. And so we're just moving forward. So you'll be seeing me skip intermittently throughout this video. So let's do that now, and we'll get back to it once you start seeing things happening. Alrighty, so skip forward just a couple minutes and we're already seeing some cavalry up here. What's this, a Furios unit? Furios cavalry, yep. Standard mid to low tier skirmisher. Maybe mainly more of a mid tier unit. Just a single one so far. Nothing else happening. It's only walking up here though. But there we go. Literally as I say that, they start running. I'm assuming that he's going to send it up here. But as far as I can tell, Toxborg has like this unit on the edge of his battle line, right? So as soon as I saw that unit of cavalry, I'm thinking, okay, his main army is probably right here, still trying to get up on top of the hill, and he might have like a unit back here hanging out, but his cavalry is like on the flanks, you know what I mean? Kind of just looking around. So I'm getting in a standard position, nothing too crazy, forming up lines in the trees, my three separated battle groups, although my left hand flank is kind of smushed together. Sends up his cav unit on top though, which kind of gets me thinking, okay, maybe he's actually trying to do some scouting, but then he kind of takes up this position right here, so I'm still not too sure exactly what he's doing. So I'm just playing it safe and just chilling, getting my infantry into position slowly. They're almost complete now. Pretty soon you'll start to see me doing some more probing kind of pushes on our far left and far right flanks. Okay, so it's been quite a while now of me just chilling up here along the edge of this tree line. I'm starting to get sick of waiting. He's had this single unit of Furios cavalry kind of going up and down, just kind of perusing my lines a little bit. He's going to get too close here though. They are going to take a mouthful of javelins. But if you're paying attention while you're watching this replay, you will see the mini-map is starting to reveal his actual intentions. And if we click on it right over here, here is his army. Instead of wanting to fight for the hills or fight in the forest, he's going way out here, out on the open fields. So now he basically knows where my army is. I now see his, and you're going to start seeing me make some maneuvers to try and deal with that. So because there was like no pushing up here at all, basically, I will send up troops, and I'm going to do it pretty recklessly. So I'm going to start splitting my army. My main battle line is going to go up here, with some units also coming down here. And they will be linked up by the troops on the hill, and you'll see that shortly. My far right hand flank of spears and cavalry will be going way around the hill, trying to check, see if there's any units hidden in like the forest here, stuff like that. Always got to be paranoid about that, but from what I can see now, we're seeing basically all of his army appear. Not on the edge of the map, but still quite a lot of space until the red line, but out here in no man's land. I think he's trying to form a position right here to try and draw me out perhaps. But it's still early on. It's a very strange move, so it's caught me off guard for sure. Very interesting move on his part, and we'll see exactly what he does with it. His cavalry is still kind of hanging out here, harassing my men though, so that's going to be an issue. I do have my left flank right here though, my spears, my cavalry, so they will try to chase him down, and we'll see how well that goes. Cavalry taking some hits from more javelins coming their way. Lost a few men, about 8. I send forward my cavalry, try and get them away because I don't need to be skirmished to death, and then boom. Another unit of cavalry appears out of nowhere in the forest. I won't be chasing them though. It looks like he's trying to bait me into chasing, so I will kind of pull back in the forest. Just chill. As long as I'm in the forest, we won't take heavy damage, and my units should be pretty well hidden. Even right now, my spearmen right here are hidden, despite them being really close to the enemy, so I'm fine with that. And even right there, he's like kind of going in and out of being hidden. But I know that he has at least 2 units of cavalry. And by now I'm starting to try and count the amount of troops in his army. It's a really good tip, by the way. If you're not sure if the enemy has hidden units, what you should do is try and count what you can see. And if they have 20, then you know that they don't have any more troops hidden. But look, he's coming back with a harassment. I'm starting to get a little bit sick of it, so you're going to see me do a little bit of a reckless charge here. We will catch them though. My troops are already in the charging animation. It won't be a great charge though. You can see we actually bump into that second unit too, so we don't even charge into them because of the Rome 2 mechanics. And then look at this. This is Toxborg's plan. Look at all this slinger fire coming in. Oh my goodness. Look at that, it's filling up the entire screen. This is why he wanted to come out in the open, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now that we can see pretty much the entire army, let's go from right to left and check out what kind of units he has. So he has thorax spearmen in a square formation already on the right hand flank. He has Rhodian picked hoplites as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is his main battle line. He has the 2 Therios cavalry that are in the middle of retreating. On the far left hand flank of his front, he also has another unit of thorax spearmen. Behind that, he has Greek infantry, which are basically levy swordsmen, very low tier. But he has 1, 2, and 3 units of them. And then possibly a 4th? No, this is a Therios swordsman over here, so they're way better for sure. And then in this middle, obviously, we have a lot of slingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 slingers. Oh no, 6. 6 Rhodian slingers is what he has. These guys are some of the most devastating skirmishers in the game with 215 range, good armor penetration. They can do some serious damage. And of course, he has 1 last unit of cavalry, which is his general, which is a shot cav unit though. It's a heavy lancer unit, and I will note that, and I will try to get him stuck in a long engagement, but because I didn't see his slingers, my cavalry get decimated. I'm about to lose this 1 unit almost. Look at that. They took so many casualties. That's insane. But now that I see his army completely, I know he's not hiding any more units. You're going to see me start to move down into the forest towards him. And we are basically going to form up a very large crescent moon style army formation before we attack. So we'll be coming up here, getting in the forest, and just lining up to basically counteract his position. He is in a very good position. He has a lot of skirmishes, so he has a lot of open ground where he can cut down my important units with his slingers. One thing I would do, possibly if I was him, is pull back a little bit more, get more out in the open, and instead have his formation kind of hold here. And that's not too close to the red line in my opinion. That's plenty of fine, so just moving his army back a little bit would have given him a little bit more ease, because there is like all of these trees right here that could still cover me. And I will try to use and abuse that before I push, but let's skip ahead a little bit more while I form up our army. Alrighty, we're almost in position. Cavalry going all the way out to the flanks, with their infantry support close by though. All of our Roman rip-off Legionnaire style units are coming into the center. And on the left hand flank, we also have our spear and javelin contingent way on the far left. Then in the rear, I'm my general, and I have the unit that got decimated because, as you can see, it just sitting there is wavering. So it's probably going to rout before it can do anything, but I'm trying to hope that it doesn't do that. Really trying to avoid that by keeping it close to my general, which should give it some support with its morale. And then I also have another unit of cavalry that wasn't hit too hard, hanging back here very deep in the forest. That is intentional, I didn't forget it. I'm just wanting to keep it back so he might overextend his cavalry and I can kind of ambush him. But now the attack begins, and I'm going to slow this down very quickly because I did something very intentional here and it seems to be working. I attacked first with my flanks, with my left and my far right. That's because I have spearmen that have big shields. They're going to take a long time to get killed frontally by slingers. And so what I wanted to do was move those units first into the field of view of the slingers so they'll start focus firing on them instead of my other units. And look, it's working. At least initially it is. Toxborg must have his units on fire at will. So my Therio Spears are going to take the brunt of the slingers, at least initially. We'll see how it goes. But that was an intentional kind of push. I am pushing forward across the entire line though, getting my men close enough so they can throw their javelins, smash into the thorax men. Won't get any kills, but they'll deal some damage, some HP damage and whatnot. Keeping my cavalry very far back though, they do not need to get involved. I'm starting to bring my other unit out too, but I do not need them to get wasted by slingers. So they're going to be hanging very, very far back. The attack orders are now coming in from Toxborg, focusing on my javelin men. That's fine to me, I don't care about them. I don't need them to win the battle. So they're kind of just a bonus. Doesn't matter to me. And you will note, all of his hoplites are on a slight angle. And I did notice this in the battle. And I was like, you know what? His hoplites are going to get destroyed by my Roman-style troops. I have 300 men in a unit. I have 15 melee attack for most of them because they all have 1 XP of experience. Their armor is only at 20, but I'm still expecting my men to come out on top against his hoplites. And he's also at an angle, so when my single unit charges in, it should like kind of envelop the hoplite unit. At least it should. But we'll see what happens here. I'm not trying to give away too many spoilers, but we lose our javelins now, both units. Hammered by his slingers, but I'm fine with that. I could care less. We're starting to get in melee engagements here. Far right hand flank, we get the charge off. Let's hide this now. Not amazing, we are just charging into his levy unit, so our men are kind of being wasted here, but we're also tying up his men and making sure that they can't outflank us. Here comes the attack across the entire front line. My Roman-style troops coming in. Let's watch this unit charge head on. It should wrap around the left and the right hand flank. The right hand side of the hoplite, nope. But this side, yes, you can see. That's my Roman-style troops getting around just in this gap here. So I'm hopeful that that's going to get me a lot of kills very quickly. Toxborg pops a war cry already. It's a little bit early for that. But look at this. This is where Toxborg releases his plan. He gives attack orders to target my infantry. And they are getting annihilated because they're getting hit in the side right here. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant plan by Toxborg. Very, very nice. I had thought that he might try and do that with slingers, but I didn't notice that he gave all of these attack orders. So all of his slingers, all 6 units are focus firing on my center right now. In the meantime though, my left and my right flank is engaging entirely, except for 2 things. One, I'm not attacking his thorax squares. I don't need to. They can just sit there. And we're also attacking his cavalry in different kind of instances. So we get a charge there. Perfect. We interrupted it. We charge head on into his general over here. And I'm going to have this unit come in and try and charge in as well. Although they do have to deal with the skirmishers as well. Oh wait, no. I turned them around. Oops. I thought I charged them into the general. Possibly a bit of a mistake. Oh no, it's not, because we have the Therio Spearmen coming in. These guys were not tied down by infantry, so they will come over and help us win that fight decisively. We are outflanking with our axemen on the far right hand flank. Very nice charge. It is only attacking levy units, so they're kind of wasting their time. I probably should have just pushed my axemen in further. And here once my center routes, I'm like, oh crap, okay, he's just destroyed my units using his slingers. I didn't realize that was happening until about now in the battle. So we have our axemen coming in here, our left and flank axemen, and I will try and bring some of these men around to refill our center. But that means that we have less men than him, and we've just taken a massive morale penalty because we just lost a lot of troops. He is having his slingers focus fire over here, but they might get some friendly fire on his general. Has to be careful about that. Can't lose his general. Meanwhile, cavalry fight continues. We're coming out on top, kind of. We're about to rout one of his cav units. This other second one is not doing too well, but he does have infantry here, and I do not. So I really need to get infantry over on that side. But my infantry were busy killing his general. Look at this. Ha ha. Very lucky. He mismicromanages his general, gets stuck in a long engagement. Because it's a shock cavalry unit, it's not going to do very well in a long, drawn-out engagement. So, we are winning the cav fight slowly but surely. We have lost one of our cav units though, but that's okay. We have our general coming around now on the far left-hand flank. General is going to be trying to swing wide to avoid the slingers, but also try and come in sharp, crash into his slingers. We got to take them out. At least, hopefully we can, but they might have used all their ammunition. No, they haven't. They still have a bit more. Meanwhile, on the far right-hand flank, we're starting to push through very, very hard now. He's having to send in his slingers into melee. It's not what he wants. He's realized that I didn't attack his Florex spears, so he's getting them out of square formation. All I did was have my units just stand there and stare at his Florex guys. It's kind of cheeky. Defied the purpose of this square, but it also held up my units, so it wasn't too much of a bad decision on his part. It's pretty good, actually. Here comes the Galatians, crashing into the hoplites that are already damaged, so these hoplites will not last long whatsoever. Wow. Those Galatians are savage. Some of our Roman infantry is still alive in the center. They all didn't get hammered by slingers. We just lost like 2 or 3 units. Here they are, trying to grind their way through the hoplites. The hoplites have lost most of their skirmisher support though. Look, he's having to send in his slingers to fight against infantry. Although we do have an issue here on the far left. My Furio spears are routed. His general is still alive, and he has the Thorax spearman unit coming over as well. So I got to be careful of that. This battle is still looking super, super dicey. If anything, it's favoring him. However, we are getting a couple routs on his troops over here, and we're starting to get rear charges with cavalry. Savage. And I popped my Intimidate perk on his troops. My general is using the warrior class, or warrior abilities. So look, we get a rout right there with the slinger. We might get a rout on this hoplite unit. If we do, that would be super, super helpful. We need it. Rout, you bugger. Get off the battlefield, sir. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, and our cav are going to get bogged down a little bit here. General pushes through the center, looking for recharging targets. I'm not sure where we do end up sending him, but we also have another unit of cav we're trying to draw enemy spearmen away with. Oh, look at this. Oh, here we go. Keep on the UI so we can see it route. Yep. There goes that hoplite unit, 114 men left, and it routes. And this is good hoplites. This is the Rhodian picked hoplites. So they're very good. Borderline elite hoplites here. General comes in big with a very nice charge. The cavalry is starting to pull out. We have infantry continuing to flank. This is our Phrygian axemen coming in, looking to try and help out in this blob over here in particular. His slingers are still stuck. Look at this. Yeah, he has one of my units surrounded, but it's 3 of his units to my 1. So even if this unit dies, I'm still happy it's basically taking up all of that time and space, because this battle is irrelevant. Whatever wins or loses out here does not matter. What matters is that they are not in here fighting in the main battle and helping his troops win. And so because of that, he doesn't have the support, doesn't have any more cavalry. They've been routed off the field. His general's gone. It's starting to look like Pontus is going to bring it back around. The rear charges from our cavalry are coming in super heavy. General is getting some decent kills as well. It's at 179. He has taken 0 losses. That's pretty crazy. Very, very nice general. And because we're getting some of the units routed, we can start dedicating more troops to focusing on outflanking. Here comes our Axemen charging in now. Charging into Thorax spearman unit, which is actually in a square formation. He charged it in and then put it in a square formation, I believe, which is why it's actually doing okay for quite a while. I didn't realize that because, as you can see, it's not really that obvious they're in a square until you like come up close. But for me, I stay zoomed out in these online battles kind of like this, so I didn't realize it was in a square until way later into the engagement. Bit of a mistake on my part, but it's not the end of the world. Cavalry comes over here, and our one unit that was tying up 3 of his actually wins that engagement, all because we had cavalry come out and support. Just one charge is all it took. This entire blob of infantry for him runs. Not that they were good infantry, but numbers was important right now. And numbers is something he doesn't have. He has a couple units off here that he's forgotten about, but not really a big deal. They're not going to change the battle at this point. We have just so many units surrounding his. The rear charges are coming in with our cavalry. I see this unit right here is on the brink of routing. Charging in our own cav unit into our own infantry, but it doesn't matter. They still get the charge, and boom. Off you go. See you later, Rhodian hoplites. These shock cavalry units with their lances, man. They're doing absolutely incredible. And over here you can see I have 2 units just sitting next to a thorax spearman unit. That way, I'm not attacking his square, so we're not giving him an advantage. And if he does try to attack one of my units, he can only attack one of them. So say he attacks this smaller one right here, then I could just easily outflank it with this other unit and come in behind. So it is intentional that they are just sitting here. Just basically protecting this, well, not protecting, but they're guarding his thorax spearman unit. And by this point in the battle, it is way too late. He has almost no units left. He has that thorax spearman unit. He just lost another slinger. His Greek infantry about to rout as well. Yeah, off they go. See you later, Sonny Jim. And with that, we still have 3 more minutes in the battle. And that is because this thorax spearman unit would not rout. So we're going to fast forward a little bit here, but the battle is basically won at this point. Although I am a little concerned that they haven't routed and a lot of my units are depleted by this point, so I am going to take my time. But I'll skip ahead right now until we get to the end of this battle. Alrighty, we're coming in with about 30 seconds left. We're attacking his thorax spears with infantry. Even more infantry coming in. Keep our general in reserve just in case, but this is why we brought our Roman style infantry. Just overwhelm the crap out of the better quality Rhodian hoplites here. Here comes our axemen as well. Beautiful charge into the rear of the thorax spears. And with that, they're gone. We get a close victory over Pontus. It was very, very close. His Rhodians did amazing work. Very interesting strategy by my man Toxborg. Let's very quickly go to the statistics screen and then we'll end it there. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on the statistics screen. And as you can see, our armies were very interesting. He had a lot of slingers. And while I think that's a really cool strategy, he needed something else to get him kills. His hoplites actually got way more kills than what they should have, in my opinion. It's possible that they also killed some of my routing men. I'm not too sure on that. But besides his slingers, he didn't really have any units that were killing units. He had his general, which is a shock cav unit, but you can't expect a single cavalry unit to win you a battle. Not like that. So that would be the next closest thing though, but all of his hoplites, they're just holding troops. The thorax spearmen are good, but they're good for cav engagements more so. They're not going to kill a lot of infantry. Thurios swordsman actually did quite well, 173 kills, but he needed like more of that or just something else to get him kills. Because if you look at my roster very quickly, you'll see all of my Roman units did terrible. The highest we had was 127 men. But besides that, they all got killed pretty quickly. But I have more things that do the killing besides that. I have good cavalry. 2 units of my cav got over 300 kills. That is massive. That's 700 kills between them just from 2 units, which is massive. Then I had my general, which got me almost 300 kills, but I still lost 2 units of cavalry. So if I didn't miss micromanage them and get them killed by slingers, imagine how many kills these guys could have gotten. So straight off the bat, besides my roaming units, I have cavalry that will get me kills. His cavalry won't really. His Furio's cavalry that he has, they're not very good killers. They're not a very good unit in general. They're okay for scouting, which is a really good use for them, and I think Toxborg used them well in that regard. But they just didn't have anything else to win them the cav engagement, which is why they didn't get many kills. But besides my cav, I also had the Axemen. 2 units of Axemen. 1 unit got 393 kills. That is massive. My other unit didn't do as well. We got a bit unlucky. My Galatians, one of them didn't do well, but the other did fantastic. 154 kills, most of the unit left intact. And then all of my Spearmen. My Thurio Spears did friggin' fantastic, getting well over 200 kills. 1 unit had 347. That's massive. And so, after his Slingers, Toxborg just didn't really have all that much that would get him kills. And I think if you make an army composition based on having like one group or a couple units, that will really get you all the kills. But if you lose those units or they don't do well, then you lose the battle, then that's kind of it for you, and that's not going to be the best army comp. So he brought in a solid army comp. He just needed something else to help get him kills. Maybe some Axemen, maybe some better cavalry instead. Maybe not even bother bringing in these really bad Levy Greek infantry units, and instead scratch those and get like a 1 elite cav unit. And then all of a sudden he has 4 to my 5 units of cav, including my general, right? And the cav engagement is looking a little bit more dicey, so just a couple little changes to that, but that strategy overall was really excellent. I really enjoyed seeing him use that against me. I'll be very hesitant to charge crooked hoplites from now on. But anyway, very cool battle, a lot of fun. I really enjoy using the larger battle mod too, so please let me know if you guys like seeing the bigger battlefields. We'll be doing more in the future regardless, but if you guys really enjoy it, then that is what I'll be permanently using for online battles. But we'll see. And I still have to do more testing with it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. GG's to my man Toxborg. Link to his channel down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.